Hello everyone from the Metaverse. It's Akshay, your host. Well, today's the day we are starting a live chat session every week with our special set of prominent guests who are entrepreneurs and individuals who have contributed a lot to the world of emerging tech. Yes, that's right. You're correct. It's a first of its kind podcast live streamed directly from the Metaverse. There's nothing like actually talking face to face with our guest as digital avatars without being conscious of the looks, body language, and you actually are letting out the actual content flow for our community. And that's what we are trying to do today. So, today we have a really interesting show in store for you, our community, and our viewers. So today we are inviting Mr. Pavan Adipuram, the co-founder of an innovative Web3 startup called as Chainmonks. Chainmonks, also known as Chitmonks, is building India's largest blockchain network for savings and borrowings. They, through their revolutionary tech, synergize chit fund companies, regulators, subscribers, banks, service providers, and whatnot to drive the largest trusted network of savers and borrowers on the blockchain. Pavan is an entrepreneur building interesting products in the Web3 space. He is a strategist and also a communicator. We are really privileged to have him with us for this great conversation. Thank you. Thank you very much, Pavan, for being here with us for this podcast in the metaverse.
Thank you, Akshay. Thanks for having me here. Hello, everyone. I'm pretty excited to be here. I've been part of many panel discussions and presentations, but this is my first podcast on a metaverse. I'm really excited to be here, and I'm happy to share my views for today's evening. Thank you again, Akshay, for having me here.
Thanks, Pavan. So let's start with the conversations. We would be having a couple of questions, a few questions, and then we can get going. So, Pavan, to start, can you, for our community as well as our viewers, in layman's term, can you please explain a bit about Chainmonks?
Sure, Akshay. Thank you. So Chainmonks, like you started saying, right? I mean, we are also known as Chainmonks in the ecosystem pretty predominantly. We started with chit funds, and we kind of brought the entire administration of chit fund activity onto the blockchain. So we were the first product, which blockchain product, which started as a pilot and went into the production across India. If you think of right now, there are very few blockchain products which are implemented in the Indian landscape, and we're happy to say that we are one of the first one to be launched as a pilot and also scale it to the production grade implementation. And we have been awarded gold at the national level also for this implementation, like especially on the emerging technology category for implementing blockchain. To solve some of the critical problems in the chit fund industry. So chit fund was more like you can imagine, right? People literally hear it as a cheat fund, not a chit fund.
Yeah.
So the trust and transparency in the business was very, very critical in terms of how we can actually bring the transparency and trust in the operations, in the way the chit fund is getting operated, especially to the subscribers who are participating in this activity. So we believe that emerging technologies like blockchain can play an important role in this space, and that's how we started the journey. But obviously now we are more like calling ourselves as Chainmonks, which is kind of telling you that we have moved beyond chit funds, and now we are focused more on building the solutions, Web3 solutions, blockchain products, which are solving some of the real problems in the Web3 world. So we kind of metamorphosized from Chitmonks to Chainmonks, and we're happy to do that. And this is our first announcement also on the metaverse, I would say.
Wow, that's pretty fantastic to hear. I feel that this is a pretty novel approach of using blockchain for something that has actually been traditionally done out of just physical ledger books. Amazing to hear this, Pavan.
Absolutely, actually. So, I mean, like you said, see, chit fund has been predominantly was more of a ledger, physical ledger book, small chit copy which used to be maintained. Our vision was to bring that entire activity onto a shared ledger, distributed ledger across different players, whether it is beyond the chit fund companies and the regulators as well. So obviously we are very excited to do this for India, I would say.
Great, amazing to hear this. So, Pavan, the next question for you would be, so can you please tell our community and viewers about what Web3 according to you, and how would that be a different approach from the traditional approach that we have been seeing?
Yeah. Sure. See, Web3 is different to different people. Again, I would limit the conversation predominantly to, to see, how blockchain community is seeing Web3 as, see, Web3, if you ask, right, the evolution of internet happened from Web 1 to 2 to 3. So from 1, it was more like a read. It was more of a static websites, if you can think of. And then from there, we kind of went into a platform kind of a model where we were able to exchange the information between the applications,
Yeah.
between the applications and across the businesses as well, right? Especially like Facebooks and the Facebooks and the WhatsApps of the world, right? If you think of Twitter and all of this, right? The Googles, these are all Web 2 models. Web 3 is more like not just read and write, but we also kind of own the data also. If you can think of it, right? What do you mean by owning the data, right? Again, think of it this way, right? All the content which in Web 2 world predominantly, if you see, we are the products, and the companies actually give services for us for free, and we are the products, and we are actually consuming the advertisements which are actually being used. Major tech companies, especially on the, I mean, if you think of these Web 2 companies, if you think of Facebooks, Googles, and the Twitters of the world, right? Most of these companies actually are making money from the ad revenue, right?
Yeah.
If it was not for products like us, they wouldn't have made that kind of money, right? Think of it from this perspective, and imagine if you as a user of the application are also getting equally benefited, if not equally, at least fairly benefited, right? I mean, that's a new way of looking at things, right? So Web3 to me is more from an owning your data perspective, and becoming the owner of your activity as well. So while you're consuming the services, while you're using the services, you're also actually able to earn some value from where the value is actually being made, right? I mean, let's say if a platform is making value by selling ads, because by consuming that ad, you are also contributing to that platform, hence you should also be fairly treated, right? So Web3 to me is that part, and apart from that is one perspective you can think of always. And another perspective to Web3, if you have to think of, is also the value of, beyond the ownership part of it, right? How does the original creator, original creator who is actually, placing their first video, which is getting viral, and or the first artist who is actually creator who is actually creating something,
Yeah.
and passing the value to the next generations. What is the value he's deriving it, right? So this is a very new way of looking at passing the value to the creators, right? I mean, passing the value to the creators, and ownership is something which you can actually tie to the Web3 as a concept, Akshay.
Oh, that's pretty insightful, Pavan. Thank you very much for explaining our community about Web3. I hope now it's pretty simplified for every one of us. So, Pavan, the next question from our side would be, so what are your thoughts on the aspect of decentralization? I understand that we are pretty in the initial nascent stage as of now, and according to you, what could the future of decentralization hold for us?
Right. See, if you think of the fundamental ethos of blockchain, right? I mean, we started talking about decentralization big time.
Yeah.
And if you're pretty much in the blockchain world or in the Web3 world, you would probably also keep hearing the triple whammy, which we call, right? Scalability, security, and decentralization are three different things in any blockchain, right?
Mhm.
So the and most of the times we kind of compromise on one aspect to scale the other aspect. So if you want scalability, you would probably have to compromise on the decentralization or the security part of it.
Yeah.
So that's the triple whammy we keep talking about it. If you ask me, where are we standing on the decentralization? I would say, very few chains like Bitcoin or Ethereum is actually at that level of decentralization, which means to say there are really good number of nodes which are being actually run, and they have some kind of a decentralization aspect in it, but many other chains which are actually starting now to get into that space. But if you ask me whether decentralization is needed for all the use cases, probably no, right? I mean, some of the use cases can actually exist without decentralization is a range, right? It's not about zero or one, right? There is
Yeah.
always a range, right? So depending on the applications you run, depending on the kind of protocol, I mean, use cases you build, you can always choose your decentralization range and be happy with it. Also now, having said that, fundamentally again. See this entire angle of building, solving the triple whammy. There is always multiple, efforts which are getting pushed into this space, and many of them are actually trying to solve the problem of decentralization. Again, what we just need to keep in mind is, right, how much of decentralization is needed for the different kind of applications. And sometimes, if you're thinking of enterprise level applications, again, most of the real crypto hard fans probably will not agree to the value proposition of a private blockchain. But end of the day, if you think of some of the applications, you definitely don't need so much of decentralization as well. So there are all kind of applications which can be built in a blockchain, and and we are all figuring it out, I would say.
Pretty insightful, Pavan. So the next question I have is pretty interesting. So uh, I would like to put it up in this way. So earlier, Pavan, as we have discussed, we had Web 1.0 and then Web 2.0, and we kind of knew that the major innovation in that space was actually happening in the US or in developed countries. But now the dynamics have actually changed. We have a lot of innovative, smart entrepreneurs in the Web3 space in India also, who are actually building a lot of solutions in the Web3 space, which do solve a lot of problems. Now, for example, we also have you for having Chainmonks on the blockchain and solving a pretty tough problem that was actually existing. So, Pawan, what are your views on this? So, how would this happen in the future? So, what would be India's stance in innovation over here?
See, I think you brought in the right perspective to the discussion, Akshay. See, okay, we keep talking about we lost it on industrial industrial revolution, and then we also lost it on internet peace and all, right? We as in India, right? So
Yeah.
now, if you think of it, right now, with globalization, with internet, it's pretty much we always live in a flat world. Typically, I mean, everybody is almost on the same page. The news happen. The news which is actually now, which happens at any corner of the world, is now available for everyone at the same time, right? Pretty
Yeah.
much, right? So when you look at it from that perspective, obviously this is a very great opportunity. And like you rightly mentioned, right? I mean, we might have lost something on 1.0 and 2.0, but 3.0, when we are looking at the space, I feel very excited to look at this space, because Web3 as a ecosystem in India is ripe in terms of taking the leap, right? I mean, I wouldn't call even a leap. It's I think we generally call it as pole vault, right? When you really want to jump beyond the leap of faith, right? So if you think, right, I mean, we have all the ingredients which are required. I mean, we have the engineers who can build some of the most innovative solutions. I keep hearing every day in Web3, you keep hearing some of very interesting and innovative business models, right? I mean, because today we are now trying to solve a lot of these problems from the value ownership perspective, as well as uh, value passing perspective, right? I mean, how do I pass value to the user? How do I make him part of the
Yeah.
ecosystem from the day one? And how do I actually also take care of the ownership of the ownership? When I'm talking about ownership, the passing the benefits to the creators kind of a model, right? So every day in Web3, we keep hearing very innovative ideas, whether it is asset backed tokens, or whether it is simple. In fact, today I was actually part of some discussion, and I heard a very innovative idea of selling tickets also as an NFTs, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I'm talking about hotel bookings. Hotel
Yeah.
bookings can be done as NFTs, and can be actually, again, sold. I mean, you don't have to cancel the booking; you can sell it in the marketplace and then make some money out of it. So it's just so much of see, what was not possible in Web 2 with Web 3, the technologies. I would only predominantly say with the advent of different kind of technology frameworks. Again, technology also, we had all the technology available earlier as well,
Yeah.
but fundamentally the framework of technologies which are getting created in the Web3 space is very unique, right? It gives you very unique opportunities in different, like I said, very different business models are possible. And India, as I was saying, right? I mean, we are in the right junction. We have all the ingredients. We have engineers. We have the right set of population. The size of the population also can help you to bring use cases which are very innovative, very native, and very true problem solving situations as well, right? So I am very excited to be part of Indian ecosystem when we are thinking of building Web3 and all. And the sheer factor of if you're thinking of technologies and how we are actually, we as Indians actually adopting technologies. If this is a classic example, right? Now we are two different startups. You are working on different kind of technologies.
Yeah.
You are working in Metaverse, working on a NextMeet kind of. NextMeet is more like a meeting platform kind of a Metaverse. And now think of this, right? I mean, we are able to actually make this a collaborative effort and launch this podcast completely virtually, giving the avatarish experience to the users who are seeing this, and make it live again, right? I mean, this is also live, getting live streamed, which means to say, we have all the tools in our hands as we speak, and all of these are pretty much built in-house, right? And it's just about chasing the value now, I would say. We are definitely there, and I'm pretty excited to be there in this space, especially in India.
Pretty insightful, Pavan. Amazing. So, Pavan, the next question would be pretty simple. So, as we are having our talk show in a metaverse environment, so what are your views on the metaverse, and how would metaverse actually change the way we collaborate and communicate, according to you?
Yeah, see, if you think of, right, metaverse, for a lot of people who would have heard metaverse for the first time when after Facebook said they are now becoming Meta, they wouldn't have realized that they were probably part of metaverse earlier as well. right? I mean, let's say if you are actually participating in a virtual conference, we are almost pretty much in virtual. But the experience of attending virtual using an avatar is a very next level, right? I mean, for me, that is like, I mean, when you guys approached me to do this thing, I was actually very curious to see myself how I would be looking in an avatar. What is it that I can do with my avatar? Can I change my hair color, dress? How should I look, right? I mean, all of that was very exciting, right? I mean, so metaverse is a I would say it's a very virtual door for opportunities, right? I mean, now we can see in the auditorium, in the amphitheater where we are actually having this conversation. I can see a movie poster, right? I mean, which is like, telling me that I can in this world now I can actually stream a movie and see it together by sitting in the comfort of my house. I actually work with my friends, and have this for have instead of going to a movie theater, and I can actually sit in the comfort of my house and have enjoy the movie along with my friend, right? I mean, that's a very different thing, and I'm sure this is a very beginning stages of metaverse what we are seeing. The experiences, what we can actually create for the users is very, very, the opportunities in this space is very exciting. And I'm really thrilled to be looking at how the metaverses are getting evolved today.
Yeah, amazing, Pavan. So, Pavan, so according to you, what can be the role of blockchain in the metaverse space? So, do you believe that these two are made for each other in the Web3 space?
Okay. See, I think there are two perspectives to this conversation. So, I mean, if I have to understand this question, right? I mean, are you asking me? Is it like both of them are made for each other, kind of a model where you cannot one cannot live without other? No, obviously it can live without other one. I mean, Web3 can survive on its own, and Meta can survive on its own. But one of the key aspects of Web3, if you have to, I mean, any Web3 application, if you think of, right, is about being digital, right? I mean,
Yeah.
whether the physical assets converting into digital assets, or creators creating something in the digital world and selling it as an NFT. All of this, if you think of it, right, all of them are digital assets, right? I mean, that means to say most of the business models which are actually getting created in Web3 are digital native first, right? I mean, digital native, meaning you will first put that in the digital world and then think of, scaling it outside, right?
Yeah.
Which is very, 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 different from the Web 2 world. If you think of Web 2 is more like, physical. Let's say I have to go and apply for a driver license, right? I mean, I can apply everything online, but just go there and physically get a physical driving license, which can be used for my this thing. But now, from the Web3 perspective, the driving license starts as a digital asset. So all the while we were thinking it as a physical copy, or having digital driving license as a physical copy. We have kind of moved from printing a physical copy to a wallet holding a digital license. But now when we are thinking of Web3 business models, that will be the first NFT which you will be holding in your wallet probably, right? So
Yeah.
if you think of it, metaverse, and so being digital is the very, very critical piece for a Web3 application. Now, from that perspective, when you see, right, I mean, metaverse and Web3 are married, right? I mean, literally, because so they are kind of made for each other fundamentally. Because if I can actually build a business model which is more like, giving an experience of I mean, now that we are in this amphitheater, now I'm seeing a movie poster here. Think of it this way, right? I mean, I create a trailer experience in this amphitheater, and I bring you into this metaverse to experience the trailer. Instead of seeing the trailer in a 2D, or a YouTube or some other WhatsApp, wherever it is, imagine you are being in the metaverse and experiencing the trailer. that's a very different experience for the user, right? So
Absolutely.
while you're doing that, what if you can actually also give them some kind of an NFT or a discount coupon or some kind of a thing which is actually going to help them prove that they are the ones who attended this trailer. And so it's about carrying the user experience from the digital world to the physical world, right? I mean, then you can give him an NFT to hold that. The proof of attendance can be given as an NFT, and you can actually take that, show that, use that NFT to actually claim a discount on a ticket, and then once you get the ticket, you can again come to the same metaverse and see the movie also with the same code, right? That's the kind of experience we are talking, right? So uh, if you ask me, Web3 and Metaverse, how do you see them? Like I said, they can exist separately, but they definitely make a good choice of technologies for implementing it together, right? I mean, that is what is my opinion about Web3 and Metaverse.
Amazing, amazing, Pavan. Great. So, Pavan, so as a next question, what I would like to ask, so let's move aside all this tech stuff. So, as an entrepreneur, Pavan, so can you tell us a bit about your challenges and how did you actually overcome these hurdles?
Sure. See, we kind of started this journey of entrepreneurship almost like 6 years back. So we were working for corporates like TCS
Mm-hmm.
before I quit this job, and my co-founders were also part of TCS, and Qualcomm before they joined me. Um, see, we all have some kind of hitch to say that after working with some few years in the corporate space, we always feel that hey, we can do more, and I can, if I can build this for some ABC company outside India, and they are able to benefit, why can't I do it for the same kind of a business in India and make
Yeah.
create value for the companies and create generate employment, and obviously in the process, see, most of us first chase value when we start the journey, and then probably money will come eventually, right? So
Yeah.
that's how we always see, right? So when we started the journey of entrepreneurship, especially thinking that we should actually solve the problem of financial inclusion, making money accessible to the underserved, or people who are actually already using the financial services. How can I actually make it more accessible, credible, and rewarding experience? If you think that was our motto or vision, you can think of, right? Making financial services accessible, credible, and rewarding, right? So when we started the journey, we were very overconfident. We were thinking, coming from a corporate world, we were always very uh, we are vision, our eyes were always on the head, so we were thinking, we were always thinking big, saying that we could do this, we could do that. But when the rubber hits the road,
Yeah.
that's when you burn, right? And
Yeah.
you will know what are the challenges. There was no glass ceiling protecting us. There was no corporate thing which was actually protecting us and all of that.
Yeah.
So we were doing it for ourselves, everything, right from hiring, and cleaning the desk, everything we were doing. The
Yeah.
challenges, and to top it all, see, especially tech people who come from product and service experience, when they get into the business thing, it's a very different world, right? I mean, we never thought of running the businesses, and everything is now new. You have to take some tough calls. In the journey, you will find people who will probably take you for a ride for the no, I mean, without you knowing it as well sometimes, right?
Yeah.
And so as part of this journey, yes, we definitely had very interesting times. There were places where we were almost chasing every single penny in the account, and then we were also chasing the resources from everywhere. There were places where we had to talk to mentors. We were talking to different people, ecosystem players, especially to see how they can actually help us in different. So as an entrepreneur, you should never shy away from asking. So that is one thing I would say when you're actually working in this space. You should never shy away asking, and you should always be when you have received something, you should always be ready to give it back as well, right? So I'm happy. I play some important role in the ecosystem as well. Wherever I go, with whatever experience and lessons we learned, I always keep talking to the new generation entrepreneurs coming in, helping them out, understand what is the asking. See, most of the times it's about asking the right questions, right?
Yeah.
So it's that is always I always try to ask the right questions to people who come to me for help and all of that. That's how I'm saying it. Actually.
Totally agree with this, Pavan. And so, what I would ask as next question is, so we've discussed a lot about our tech as well as your entrepreneurial life. So, Pavan, so what is the interest that you have apart from the tech and the entrepreneurial aspect in your life? So, what are your other areas of interest?
So I'm a bit of more of an explorer, I would say. I mean, I always keep trying new things. I mean, that's something which always keeps me, excited about things. So I
Yeah.
keep trying. I'm an explorer. So I always like to experiment with the technology, learn new things, and experience different things. Right, especially when it comes to technology and businesses. I love to listen to people what they're doing. I love to listen to business models, different kind of business models. Everyone has a very unique idea of, everyone thinks of doing business very differently. If you, like, for example, after some time, if when we are discussing, maybe actually you will also give me some ideas about how to run a chip from business or how to think of, adding value to the different space as well, right? So because so everyone has a very different. So for me, every interaction I have is a learning for me, and I'm more excited to meet people, explore different technologies, and always, that's pretty much from the business and the I mean, I would say the regular life. Apart from that, of course, I'm a father to two kids, and they're very interesting. I mean, I love teaching them as well. So whenever I talk to them, I like to help them understand different aspects of what their subjects, right? Whether it is economics, physics, or even math, right? So I love talking to them in spite of whatever we do. We should never let that guard down.
Yeah.
That's my way of looking at it.
Very inspiring to know this. So, Pavan, our last question for tonight. So, what would the greatest opportunity? So, what is our greatest opportunity as a society? As you know that we are, as of now, emerging from a pandemic. So, how do we build back stronger? So, where should the focus be?
Okay, so I mean that's that's a very interesting question and very out of the thing what we're discussing. But fundamentally, if you think, see, I mean, I would like to answer it from two perspectives.
Hmm.
One from the, I mean, just to make the conversation more relevant to the participants, right? It is so one perspective. If you think of it from the technology perspective, where should we look at it? What is the greatest opportunity as a society? And again, from a regular life perspective, if you ask me, right? So from what I see, right? I mean, see, pandemic has given all of us that nudge to start thinking differently, right? I mean, before pandemic, we were always complaining about work from home. We never try to adapt, right? I mean, schools, classic examples, right? Schools never try to adapt technology, especially, even the best of the international schools never try to adapt technology of, making the kids learn something from the communities and all of that. But that has changed like anything once the pandemic started, right? Everybody was on internet. Everybody was actually trying to create communities and all of that. So post pandemic, the way the businesses are looking at their operations, right, is completely different. So,
Yeah.
which is kind of giving that is an opportunity for every tech entrepreneur, if you ask me, right? So you can actually innovate the business model. You can actually innovate the business processes, bring efficiencies into the existing processes, think differently, and always solve some of the critical problems in this space, I would say. And like I said, we are very now with the flattish kind of a world, the tech access to technologies like Web3 is not far from you. You have access. If someone is talking about a new concept of Web3 in somewhere in US or any other country or Russia or any other place, right,
Yeah.
that is immediately available for you also to understand and then improvise on it and work on it and do things. So you always keep your enthusiastic, I would say antennas on, and start listening to people from everywhere, and keep your eyes and ears open for the changes coming in the technology and adapt it fast. I would put it that way from the perspective. And from the, if you think from little philosophical, but if you think of it, right, I mean, pandemic has definitely shown how vulnerable we are, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we always thought, everyone can live we always thought, I will not die until I become 80, 90. But
Yeah.
it hit us so bad that we have seen some of the, you know, real, youngest friends also we have were succumbed to this kind of thing.
Yeah.
It kind of also proved that we are so very vulnerable, and it kind of tells you that keep your eyes down, hold your feet on the ground, and always help each other, right? I mean, that's one thing. So if you extend that, right, I mean, whether it is a business community or whether it is a life thing, right, you should always work with your cooperation, right? Not the competition, cooperation and the competition kind of a thing, right? So you should always work together and make this world a better place, right? A little better place always. That is what I would say.
Amazing, Pavan. Really insightful. So we love the conversation. So what a great message to close this today. And thank you very much, Pavan, for spending time with us, enlightening our community as well as our live viewers. We really enjoyed the conversation, Pavan. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thanks, actually. Thanks. Like I said, I'm pretty excited. This is my first Metaverse event. I'm happy to see myself in an avatar and have this conversation with you in this amphitheater, which is in Metaverse. Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure talking to you all.
Thanks very much, Pavan. So, thank you very much, viewers, for being with us tonight. And stay tuned. Every week, we shall be meeting in the metaverse with our prominent guest and keep you enlightened as well as entertained. Till then, have a great day. Thank you, and bye from the metaverse.
आप कैसे अच्छा ऐसे ठीक है डांस क्लास
H H H.